Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In this video, I want to educate about why July 4th is Independence Day for the United States of America. If you're not aware, there was a time where the date of independence was debated. For example, the second president of the United States, John Adams, he thought July 2nd, once upon a time, would be recognized as Independence Day because it was July 2nd, 1776, that the American government legally separated from Great Britain. It was 2 days later that the Declaration of Independence, written by Thomas Jefferson, was finalized. So, why did they go with July 4th instead of July 2nd? The truth is within our own language. And within our own language, there are tributes to Freemasonry. If you learn about the founders of this nation, the majority of them were Freemasons, Masonic men, including the first president, George Washington. So, what does Freemasonry have to do with July 4th? We're going to talk about that right now. There's a language called gematria. It is the practice of coding numbers into words. And if you study gematria within the English language, you will come to find out what I have discovered. That is, that the English language is very much based on gematria, and the people at the top who create culture, who create words, they're very much aware of this, and they actively use gematria. For example, Independence Day sums to 74 in the form of gematria known as Pythagorean gematria, or also English reduction. 74, very much like 7-4 for the 7th month, 4th day, July 4th. The word holiday in gematria also sums to 74. This is using the simple English gematria format. Interrelated. Independence Day, holiday, they both sum to 74. This number is very special to Freemasonry. Freemasonry, Masons, Masonic. The word Masonic has gematria of 74. So does the word Jewish. If you study Freemasonry, you find out its roots are in Judaism. If you study the history of this nation, it was very much created by not only Masons, but also the Jewish. It was Jewish bankers who financed the American Revolutionary War. This isn't disputed. If you research, this is fact. It has been Jewish and Masons since the beginning, forging this nation by the numbers. The practice of gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, this is mostly a Jewish practice. There aren't many other groups in the world that are familiar with gematria. And even many people who are just mainstream Jewish, they're not aware of gematria either. The people who are doing this are the higher-ups, the people who we call the founders, the people who rule over us, who govern over us. The language English itself has gematria of 74. So does the word gematria. And again, English and gematria very much interrelated. Alphabetic order in Pythagorean gematria also sums to 74. Gematria is completely based on the sequence of the letters, the alphabetic order. If you look up who is credited with creating the English language, the most recognized name is Robert Wilkinson, a music composer. The way he spelled his name is, as you see on the screen, Robert Wilkinson in gematria, 74. Again, this is a Freemason signature, and this is the reason the United States of America's Independence Day is 7-4. It very easily could have been 7-2 or a number of other days in the process of getting the Declaration of Independence to Great Britain, something that didn't happen until months later. So many dates could have been recognized as Independence Day. With regards to 74 and holidays, we talked about how Independence Day and holiday sum to 74. Thanksgiving, the first Thanksgiving was recognized by President George Washington on November 26, 1789. Abraham Lincoln, 74 years later, would make Thanksgiving an official holiday, 74 years to the day, from November 26, 1789 to November 26, 1863, is 74 years. From 1789 to 1800 is 11 years, plus 63 more, 11 plus 63, 74. Official holiday, 74 years later. The story of the Pilgrims is that they left Plymouth, England on September 6th, 1620. There was supposedly 102 of them at the beginning. The reason this stands out right away is because the word Freemason in Gematria sums to 96. You know, holiday, Freemason coding, Freemason history by the numbers. If you study this, you'll come to understand that our entire history has been reported this way. Characters from Paul Revere to George Washington, they've lived their lives. The history has been recorded by the numbers. So what I'm showing here is just the tip of the iceberg. Realize that this study, this application, it goes a lot further. Thanksgiving in Pythagorean Gematria also sums to 96. Freemason 96, Thanksgiving 96. They set out on September 6th. With regards to 102, that also pops out because United States of America has Gematria of 102. The Civil War, the American Civil War, began on the 102nd day of the year. Lincoln would be assassinated at the end of the war on a date with 102 numerology. If you read the 66th book of the Bible, the book of Revelation, the book of prophecy, it talks about the Church of Philadelphia and the Key of David. The name Philadelphia, the original capital of the United States of America, comes from the book of Revelation. And if you read Revelation, the numbers most heavily talked about are 7 and 4. There's a lot of 7 and 4 in Revelation. There's a lot of parallels from Revelation to United States of America. With regards to the Church of Philadelphia, there's a component in bringing about prophecy called the Key of David. And Key of David in United States of America both have Gematria of 102. Philadelphia was established on a date with matching numerology. Slavery equals 102. The United States of America has been a nation of slaves since the beginning. A nation at war and a nation of slaves since the beginning. For those of you who watch Game of Thrones, a show very much centered around 7. 7's the fourth prime number, 74. In Game of Thrones, midway through the most recent season, there was discussion about slavery and how you can switch out actual slaves for people who are ruled by a central bank. Here in the United States of America, we're ruled by a central bank, which is a form of slavery for the masses. Because what it does is it creates a money system that demands people always help contribute to that system. That's why in the United States, we're born with a number stamped onto us. We're expected to grow up, generate tax revenue, pay bills, feed a system that rules over us by the numbers. So anyhow, some 102s in our history: United States of America, Key of David, slavery, even the phrase fuck you, and I don't think that's a coincidence. Al-Qaeda equals 102. On September 11th, they were blamed for the attack. The attack lasted 102 minutes. Here I'm going to show what 74 had to do with September 11th and bring it all back around. So New York City, the World Trade Centers, they are on the 74th meridian. Special city, special location. When you write out July 4th in Gematria, it sums to 156. And this is a very special number connecting to numbers such as 911, the National Emergency Dialing Code for the United States of America, and also the number 33. And in a moment, we're going to talk about 33 and 74. With regards to the beginning of this nation, I want to bring up that Christopher Columbus, CC, was paid for to come to the United States of America by the Catholic Church, the CC. C is the third letter. Christopher Columbus, CC 33, Catholic Church. All of these things fall under this Masonic umbrella of rule. Freemasonry is spread through religion, government, media, all throughout history. The word history and Freemason match in Gematria. So, New York City, September 11th, 74. New York City on the 74th meridian. When you write out July 4th, which we write 7-4, it sums to 156. 911 is the 156th prime number. The World Trade Centers were built in 1968. That's the same year 911 was made the National Emergency Dialing Code. That's the same year George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. 33 years later, he would become president, and 9/11 would happen. George W. Bush's birthday, a span of 68 days before 9/11. 68, big year for this country. Anyhow, the World Trade Centers existed for 33 years when construction began. They were open from 73 to 2001, 28 years. 33 and 28, the only two numbers when you write out that sum to 156. Again, 911, the 156th prime, the buildings would come down on 911. The firm that built the World Trade Centers is called Magnuson Klemenkic Associates, having gematria of 111 and 156, both very significant numbers. 156, again connected to 9/11, and also 33. The buildings they built lasted for 33 years, came down on 9/11. With regards to the 111 gematria, New York equals 111. September 11th is the date that leaves 111 days left in the year. Last year we saw New York go down in the 111th World Series on 11-1. If you missed my work last year, I predicted the Mets would be in the World Series in spring training before the season began because, again, history is scripted by these numbers, including the world of professional sports. Where the World Trade Centers went down, they rebuilt the One World Trade Center. They made it 104 floors tall and 1,776 feet. The original Independence Day of the nation, as we recognize it, July 4th, 1776, is a date with 104 numerology. 7 plus 4 plus 17 plus 76 equals 104, just like the building. And that's exactly why they did it. Numerology, gematria, important skills to these people. With regards to September 11th and Christianity, which is where we're going to go next with 74, the United States of America, very much based on the Bible, the holy text of the Christian faith. September 11th is New Year's Day on the Coptic calendar. The Coptic calendar is something the old world Christians go by. What's interesting is the Bush administration, before they became the Bush administration, when Bush was running for office, they had a think tank called the Project for a New American Century. And you can still look this up, Project for a New American Century. They call for a new Pearl Harbor. Search Project for a New American Century, New Pearl Harbor. You can read the document as it was written years before September 11th. It calls for a new Pearl Harbor to start a new foreign and domestic agenda for the new century. September 11th, 2001 was the new year of the new century on the Coptic calendar. The date September 11th happened. Coptic in gematria equals 66, so does Christians. Most Bibles are 66 books in length. When you write out the word 33, it sums to 66. If you sum the numbers 1 through 11, they total 66. 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to 11. New York's the 11th state. The World Trade Centers look like giant 11s. We've been talking about 74. In numerology, 74 is 7 plus 4 equals 11. 11, the most special number in numerology. 9th month, 11th day, date of the attack. So, to bring this back around, 33 and 74 very much have a connection. And let me show you something interesting about 33 in the language. When you write out 33, it sums to 156, as we said. If you write out February 2nd, it sums to 156. February 2nd is the 33rd day of the calendar year. The phrase as above, so below equals 156. That is a symbol that is represented in the hexagram, like the Zionist Star of David. Notice it is two three-sided figures, a physical representation of 33. And again, from the beginning of this nation, it has been Masonic, Zionist Jews, controlling history, controlling government, controlling banking. From the Star of David, to our currency. Do you see the symbol coded in? This is what's on the dollar bill, always has been. The Star of David etched in the stars. So with regards to 33 and 74, think of Jesus on the cross at age 33, the central figure of Christianity. Cross in Gematria sums to 74. Jesus. Yeshua, which is the Greek spelling of Jesus, 74. Joshua, which is the English translation of Jesus, 74. The word Messiah, 74. The word gospel, which is the first 4 books of the New Testament. Remember, 7, the 4th prime number. The first 4 books of the New Testament are the gospel, the story of Jesus. Lucifer also has gematria of 74. Many parallels between Jesus and Lucifer in the occult. Lucifer, the bringer of light. In the Quran, the spiritual figure Muhammad equals 74. I predicted in 2014 that Muhammad Ali would die at age 74. He did. He died on June 3rd, 63 days before the start of the Summer Olympics. The Prophet Muhammad died at age 63. Muhammad Ali died on June 3rd, 63. These numbers are ritualistic to the Masons, and they do a lot by them, including ritual sacrifice of their celebrities. Remember, Muhammad Ali opened up the 96 Summer Games in Atlanta. Muhammad Ali sums to 96. A boxing ring is 96 feet around. Muhammad Ali, the small way, sums to 42. Rio sums to 42. The Summer Games are in Rio this year. We'll talk more about 42 in a moment. Out of the 50 states in the United States of America, only the 33rd state, Oregon, sums to 74. No other. Only Oregon, 1 out of 50. That means 2%. In case you were thinking every word sums to 74, it's not the case. Only one of the United States, it's Oregon, the 33rd state. And again, Jesus on the cross at 33. Occult equals 74. Again, Masonic, Jewish. If you read Psalm 74, it's very interesting in light of the nation we live in. And it really seems to be a mocking of us. Just look at how it begins. O God, why hast thou cast us off forever? Why doth thine anger smoke against the sheep of thy pasture? How many people in this nation can relate with those words and the way they feel from living here? From being ground from birth up to the present. You know? This really is a slave nation for many. People who work and have very little time to spend with loved ones or enjoy life. Look up the rest of Psalm 74. Zion, Zionism, Israel. Again, 7, the 4th prime, the Zionist state of Israel, recognized by a 33-member vote in the year 47 by the United Nations. With regards to 47, the reflection of 74, this year, July 4th, we'll have 47 numerology, something that hasn't happened for a good long while. I don't think since the year 1917. So 47 numerology this year on July 4th. This year, the United States of America was 239 years old. Very special number to the Zionists. Torah equals 239. Golden Gate equals 239. They believe the Messiah will come through the Golden Gate. In the history of the United States, there was once 239 small or relatively small biological weapons tests conducted on major cities throughout America. It was a test that went on over multiple decades. The first of those 239 biological weapons tests on the population of the United States was carried out by the Golden Gate Bridge. And again, Golden Gate equals 239. So we'll be turning 240 years old. The flag was sewn at 239 Arch Street. But look at these 47 words. Christian, we're very much a Christian nation. A lot of our laws centered around Christianity. Also the Old Testament, which the Jews go by, 39 books, 39 signers. The United Nations, 39 floors tall. Anyhow, Christian 47, authority 47, obey 47, judge 47, gavel 47. The word jury is 74. No coincidence. Special numbers. And again, the reason it's this nation's birthday. Some other numbers to know for this nation are 223. Another very special number. Masonic equals 223. In Revelation, the final book of the Bible, the book of prophecy, it says the false Jews will rule in the end times. Those would be the Jewish people, the people we call Jews at this day and age. They're known as the synagogue of Satan. The synagogue of Satan are the Zionist Jews. The synagogue of Satan, 223, just like Masonic. And they've quoted this number all over our history as well. The Star-Spangled Banner, 223. Think about the lyrics of bombs bursting in air in light of the 4th of July, setting off fireworks, the way we celebrate our war empire nation by shooting off colored gunpowder. The original Bibles were known as 42-line Bibles. They were supposedly printed in history for the first time March 22nd, 1457. This is the most recognized date of the original Bible publishing. March 22nd in most parts of the world is written 22/3 like Masonic, like the synagogue of Satan. They were called 42-line Bibles. If you read the New Testament, it begins with the 42 generations leading up to Jesus. If you read Revelation, there's the 42 period that the beast rules for. New Testament in Gematria equals 42, so does Freemason. Again, they were called 42-line Bibles. The symbol of the Masons is the compass and square because they are into measurement, numbers, measurement. They like that big G in the middle of their compass. Here's what that big G represents. G is the 7th letter. Again, 7 is the 4th prime Masonic 74. G in English Gematria also sums to 42 like Freemason. This is where you multiply the letter times 6 before adding. So 7 times 6, 42. And in Francis Bacon Gematria, big G is 33. That's because in this format, lowercase a through z are 1 through 26, and uppercase a through z are 27 through 52, meaning big G is 33. Numbers of great significance to the Freemasons, numbers of great significance throughout this nation's history. So, tomorrow you're at a barbecue, you're out with your friends, you're watching fireworks. Maybe share this information. Maybe share a little bit. Talk about Independence Day, holiday, the Masons. I understand that talking with your peers about Judaism and their rule over us, that's taboo in our society, so maybe that's harder to broach. But introducing the 74, the Freemasonry, the language, how the holiday could have been a number of other days, I think you might find yourself having an interesting conversation. And then if you know a few more things about these numbers, you can take it there. All right, Truth Seeker. Until next time.